I hope you have watched the previous class. On the last class, we heard a story. Don't you remember it? Yes, a snake in the grass. Who was the author of the story? Yeah, R.K. Narayan. Who was R.K. Narayan? He is a well-known Indian writer in English. He wrote several novels and short stories that won him many awards. His novels and short stories deal with the peculiarities of human relationships and the realities of Indian life. Most of his novels are set in the imaginary South Indian town of Malgudi. Have you read any of his stories? No? No problem. Let's watch a video on one of his stories, The Malgudi Days. Malgudi Days. Malgudi Days is among Narayan's collection of short stories. The stories written with Narayan's simple style and characteristics. Gentle irony portray the variety and color of Indian life. Narayan in his introduction says, I have named this volume Malgudi Days in order to give it a plausibly geographical status. I am often asked, where is Malgudi? All I can say is that it is imaginary and not to be found on any map. If I explain that Malgudi is a small town in South India, I shall only expressing a half-truth, for the characteristics of Malgudi seem to me universal. Readers cannot agree more. Did you watch the video? So try to read his story. His stories are very interesting story. So on the last class, we heard one of his story, A Snake in the Grass. Let's retake the events of the story. So what had happened first? Yeah, right. A cyclist saw a big cobra entering to the Bentlau's compound. So, by hearing the news, the family were greatly agitated. Who all consisted in the family? Your mother and her 4 sons were the family members. So they woke Dasa, their old servant who was sleeping in the shed, for help. So when they told him about the arrival of the cobra, what was his reply? Yeah, he dismissed the matter by saying that there isn't any cobra here. At the mean of time, many neighbors assembled and started searching for the snake. After that, an old beggar cried for alms at the gate. When the beggar heard that they were all busy with the snake hunt, as a religious point of view, the beggar told that the god himself has come to visit them in the form of a snake. So the mother was in hearty agreement, and she told that it was a reminder of the promised Abhishekam. Then she gave a coin to the beggar, and the beggar told that not to kill the snake, and she promised to send a snake charmer as she went. After that, a snake charmer came. He spoke to them of his life and his activities and his power over snakes. But when they showed him the direction in which the cobra had gone, he looked helplessly, and he said that he will only catch the snake if they show them the snake. So he gave his name and departed. Now let's read the balance part of the story and find out, did they catch the snake or not. At 5 in the evening, they threw away their sticks and implements and retired to the veranda to rest. They had turned up every stone in the garden and cut down every grass blade and shrub so that the tiniest insect coming into the garden should have no cover. They were loudly discussing various measures they would take to protect themselves against reptiles in the future. When Dasa appeared before them carrying a water pot whose mouth was sealed with a slab of stone, he put the pot down and said, "I have caught him in this. I saw him peeping out of it. I saw him before he could see me." He explained at the length the strategy he had employed to catch and seal up the snake in the pot. They stood at a safe distance and gazed on the pot. Dasa had the glow of a champion on his face. "Don't call me an idler hereafter," he said. Mother complimented him on his sharpness and wished she had placed some milk in the pot as a sort of religious duty. He picked up the pot cautiously and walked off, saying that he would leave the pot and its contents with a snake charmer living nearby. He became the hero of the day. They watched him in great admiration and decided to reward him adequately. It was 5 minutes since Dasa had gone when the younger son cried, "See there, out of a hole in the compound wall, a cobra emerged." It glided along towards the gate, paused for a moment to look at the gathering in the veranda with its hood half raised. It crawled under the gate and disappeared along a drain. When they recovered from the shock, they asked, "Does it mean there are 2 snakes here?" The college boy murmured, "I wish I had taken the risk and knocked the water pot from Dasa's hand. He might have known what it contained." At 5 in the evening, they threw away their sticks and implements and retired to the veranda to rest. So, did they find the snake? No, they didn't find the snake. They started searching for the snake in the afternoon, and when it was 5 in the evening, they became tired and stopped searching for the snake. At 5 in the evening, they threw away their sticks and implements and retired to the veranda to rest. Retire means withdraw or from a particular place. They had turned up every stone in the garden and cut down every grass blade and shrub, so that the tiniest insects coming into the garden should have no cover. So what did they done to the garden? Yeah, they cut down every grass blade and shrub in the garden. Why did they do like that? Yeah, and tiniest insect coming into the garden should have no shelter. They were loudly discussing various measures they would take to protect themselves against reptiles in the future. So, what do you mean by reptiles? Yeah, we call reptiles animals that crawls or moves on its belly or on small short legs. For example, snake. Snake crawls and it moves on its belly. So, they were loudly discussing various measures they would take to protect themselves against reptiles in the future. When Dasa appeared before them carrying a water pot whose mouth was sealed with a slab of stone. So, while they were talking with each other, Dasa appeared before them. Appeared means, Dasa came before them or stood before them. So, Dasa appeared before them carrying a water pot. So, in Dasa's hand, he was carrying a water pot. Its mouth was sealed with a slab of stone. So, Dasa appeared before them carrying a water pot whose mouth was sealed with a slab of stone. And what did he do? He put the pot down and said, "I have caught him in this. I saw him peeping out of it. I saw him before he could see me." He explained at the length the strategy he had employed to catch and seal up the snake in the pot. So what do you mean by strategy? Yes, strategy means an action designed to achieve a long-term or overall aim. So here he explained the strategy he had employed. Employed means, involved. The strategy he had involved to catch and seal the snake in the pot. So, did they find the snake? No, they didn't find the snake. Instead of Dasa find the snake. He found the snake in a water pot. So, how did he explain the length of the strategy? He told that the snake was peeping out of the water pot. So, before the snake seeing him, he sealed the snake in the water pot using a slab of stone. By hearing it, everyone stood at a safe distance from the pot and gazed on the pot. What do you mean by gaze? Look steadily and intently, especially in admiration, surprise, or thought. So they gazed on the pot. Dasa had the glow of a champion on his face. So Dasa had the glow. What do you mean by glow? Glow means to look very pleased or satisfied. So Dasa had the glow of a champion on his face. Don't call me an idler hereafter, he said. So what do you mean by idler? Idler is a person who avoids work or spends time in an aimless or lazy way. So when the story began, we heard that the mother of the Benglau scolding Dasa as an idler. So that's why he said that hereafter, now next time, don't call him an idler. Idler means a person who avoids work or spends time in an aimless or lazy way. Mother complimented him on his sharpness and wished she had placed some milk in the pot as a sort of religious duty. Mother complimented. Compliment means politely congratulate or praise for something. So here, mother politely congratulate Dasa on his sharpness and wished she had placed some milk in the pot as sort of religious duty. He picked up the pot cautiously and walked off, saying that he would leave the pot and its contents with the snake charmer living nearby. What do you mean by cautiously? Cautiously in a way that deliberately avoids potential problems or danger. So to avoid any danger from the snake inside the pot, he picked up the pot cautiously and walked off, saying that he would leave the pot and its contents with the snake charmer living nearby. Why is he leaving the pot and its contents to the snake charmer? The snake charmer told them he would only catch the snake if they show him the snake. But now Dasa catched the snake and became the hero of the day. So he is going to give the snake inside the pot to the snake charmer. He became the hero of the day. They watched him in great admiration and decided to reward him adequately. When the story began, we all heard everyone blaming Dasa, even the neighbors blaming Dasa for his laziness. But now they all were watching him in great admiration. How did he catch the snake so bravely? So they decided to reward him adequately. Adequately means to a satisfactory or acceptable extent. So they decided to reward him in a satisfactory extent, acceptable extent. They watched him in great admiration and decided to reward him adequately. It was 5 minutes since Dasa had gone when the younger son cried. So Dasa took the pot and the snake inside the pot to the snake charmer, and he went to give the pot and its contents to the snake charmer living nearby. So after Dasa had gone, it has been 5 minutes since Dasa had gone. So at that time, the youngest son of the family cried. What did he cry? See there, out of a hole in the compound wall, a cobra emerged. So what had happened? In the hole of the compound wall, a cobra emerged. Emerge means move out of or away from something and become visible. So the snake became visible in the hole in the compound wall. Then what happened? It glided along towards the gate. Glided means move with a smooth, quiet, continuous motion. So the snake glided along towards the gate. Paused for a moment. Why did he pause? To look at the gathering in the veranda with its hood half raised. It crawled under the gate and disappeared along a drain. So what had happened? The younger son saw a cobra emerging out of the hole in the compound wall. Then it glided along towards the gate, then paused for a moment to look at the gathering. Then it crawled under the gate and disappeared along a drain. So what do you think? Did Dasa caught the snake in the pot? Or there were two snakes? Let's check it out. When they recovered from the shock, they asked, "Does it mean there are two snakes here?" So when they heard the younger son's word, they asked, "Is there any two snakes in the bungalow?" The college boy murmured, "I wish I had taken the risk and knocked the water pot from Dasa's hand. We might have known what it contained." The college boy murmured. Murmured means say something in a low or indistinct voice. So the college boy murmured that he wished he had taken the risk, knocked the water pot from Dasa's hand. Forward, yeah, to look what is inside the water pot in Dasa's hand. So, what do you think? Is there two snakes or Dasa cheated? Yes, probably Dasa have cheated them. Do you think there were two snakes in the premises? Okay, just guess and write the answer. So, before finishing today's class, let's check some question and answers of this chapter. Question number 1. Identify the references to time, local scene, and the character in the first part of the story. Identify the references to time, local scene, and the character in the first part of the story. So the question is to find the time, place, and character described in the first part of the story. So when we read the first part of the story, what was the time? Yeah, we discussed that the time was an afternoon. So the time described in the first part of the story is afternoon. Then what was the place described in the story? Yeah, road in front of a house. How do we find out that? Yeah, we heard that after describing the time, the poet describes that the cyclist rang his bell at the gate frantically and shouted. So probably the place will be a road in front of the bungalow. Now, character. Who was the character in the first part of the story? Yeah, a cyclist. A cyclist is the first character in the first part of the story. So, the answer is time afternoon, place a road in front of the bungalow, character a cyclist. Now, let's check the second question answer. Why did the cyclist ring the bell and shout? Why did the cyclist ring the bell and shout? So, why did the cyclist ring bell and shout? Yeah, he saw a cobra entering to the bungalow's compound. So, he rang his bell frantically and shouted. So, the answer is he saw a cobra entering the compound of the house, so that the cyclist rang his bell and shouted. Now, question number 3. What did the members of the family accuse the gardener of? What did the members of the family accuse the gardener of? So, we read that the family members accused Dasa, the gardener, of the house. So, why did they accuse Dasa? Yeah, they accused because the laziness of Dasa. So, Dasa is a gardener. So, here the question is, why did the members of the family accuse the gardener for? The answer is that they accuse the gardener of being lazy and careless. So the answer is they accuse the gardener of being lazy and careless. Fourth one, what do you mean by snake menace? Have you heard of any other such menaces? So what do you mean by snake menace? Yeah, the dangers that the snake is likely to cause. So, by snake menace, we mean that the threat from the snake or the dangers from the snake. So, have you heard any other such menaces? Yeah, we have heard mad dog menace, mosquito menace, like that. So, you need to write the answer of that question by yourself. I have given some clues. By snake menace, we mean that the threat from snakes. Other such menaces are mad dog menace, mosquito menace, etc. Fifth one, why did the mother give a coin to the beggar? Why did the mother give a coin to the beggar? Yeah, mother gave the beggar a coin because her arrival helped her remember a promised abhishekam, and also the beggar told that she will send a snake charmer as she went. So the answer is that mother gave the beggar a coin because her arrival helped her remember a promised Abhishekam, and also the beggar promised to send a snake charmer as she went. So we are ending our class here. So today you have to learn the 5 question answers, and you need to read the story A Snake in the Grass by R.K. Narayan. Bye bye students, see you all at the next class.